Well, hey there, folks. Brian Nichols here with another episode of CX Without the BS. Today's episode is straight discovery fuel. I'm giving you 10 questions that you should be asking every single time you talk to a client about their phone system. And I'm not talking about the fluffy, hypothetical, what are your goals from a digital transformation perspective nonsense. I mean direct questions that pull the rug out from under all the assumptions they've made and how their communication actually works. These questions, they expose stuff fast, the kind of stuff that costs money, pisses off customers, and makes employees miserable without anybody realizing it. And spoiler alert, every one of these questions points to the kinds of problems a real business phone system solves. Not one duct taped together with a free software, a few cell phones, and God bless, some blind faith. All right, let's go. Number one, how do your customers typically get in touch with you? This is where you find out if they're living in reality or in fantasy land. They'll say email, maybe chat, maybe phone, but when you push and ask, no, seriously, when someone needs something from you, how do they actually reach out? They're going to pause because they don't know. They're likely guessing. And that's the first sign that the system they have isn't being measured. If you don't know how your customers are reaching you, you don't know how to staff for it, and you certainly don't know what experience they're getting. And by the way, you also don't know what's falling through the cracks. Question 2, what happens if someone doesn't answer the phone? And I ask this one, and people instantly start scrambling to explain. Well, it goes to voicemail, or I think it rings a few more people, or it rolls to our admin cell. And none of that is a process. That is what we call patchwork. What I'm really asking here is, do you know where that call went? Do you know if it was returned? Do you even know it happened? Because if a paying customer calls and nobody picks up and nobody knows that happened, that's lost money. And you won't find that in a report. You'll find it in the slow bleed of people choosing somewhere else. Question 3, how long does it usually take to resolve a customer's issue? Not just resolve the product or service problem, but the communication part of it. Does the customer have to repeat themselves? Do they get bounced around? Do they sit on hold? If the phone system isn't giving your team the ability to quickly see who's calling, what they've said before, where they're at in the process, then every issue takes longer. Resolution speed is less about how good your team is and more about whether they've got a phone system that actually helps them move faster. Question 4, are your employees using their own phones to call customers? And this one hits people hard because almost every business has reps or techs using their personal cell phones. No caller ID masking, no centralized voicemail, no logs, just personal outreach. And when those employees leave, the relationship goes with them. Plus, you've got zero visibility, no way to coach, and no way to stop something dumb from being said on a recorded line because, oh, wait, there isn't one. It's not being flexible, it's being blind. And if you're serious about keeping your brand tight, you've got to own the communication, not hope Susan's iPhone keeps doing its thing. Question 5, what kind of feedback do you hear from customers about communication? Most businesses only notice communication issues when it becomes an issue. But what about all the ones who didn't say anything and just quietly stopped calling? If you're not collecting feedback about how easy it is to reach you, how fast you follow up, how clear your reps sound, you're missing the whole front end of customer experience. And even when they do collect feedback, most people don't tag comments related to communication. So they got no idea that 30% of their complaints have the word call or phone in them. Question 6, are your systems integrated or are your employees toggling between tabs all day? And if it takes 5 windows to solve one problem, you've already lost. Every time someone switches between a CRM, a phone app, a scheduling tool, a notes field, or whatever else they're using, that's 30 seconds here, 90 seconds there, multiplied across a team, across a day, across hundreds, if not thousands of interactions. And you know what customers feel? Slowness, repetition, delay, because, well, that's what happens when your systems don't talk to each other. A good phone system doesn't live on an island. It connects the dots. Anything else? Yeah, that's just white noise. Question 7. Do you have visibility into how many calls you're missing? Not, I think we're doing okay. I mean, real data, real time. Are you seeing who called, whether they got through, and how long they waited? Most of the time, people aren't tracking this at all, which means every day there's a stack of missed opportunities they didn't even know happened. If you're not measuring missed calls, you're not measuring lost revenue, period. Question 8. So how are your call recordings or voicemails currently handled? And this one's always messy. Maybe voicemails get emailed around. Maybe they're saved to someone's desktop. Maybe nobody knows where they go. Or maybe you've got reps having awkward conversations that should have been coached out of them months ago. If only someone had a recording. Call recordings and voicemails aren't about just covering your ass. They're about getting better, faster, cleaner. They're about protecting the team and your customer. If you can't easily access, review, and learn what's being said, you're flying blind. All right, folks, almost there. Question 9. What does success look like for your customer experience? No, happy customers don't count. I mean actual goals, measurable stuff. Things like answer time under 30 seconds, first call resolutions, fewer voicemails, call abandonment below 5%. If you can't describe what success looks like with numbers, you're making decisions based on vibes, and vibes don't pay the bills. A phone system isn't there just to make stuff ring. It's there to help you hit goals, but only if you've defined what those goals are. And finally, yes, question 10. If your top customer called right now, would they get the experience you'd be proud of? That's the closer. If your biggest, most valuable client picked up the phone and called right this second, what happens? Do they get stuck in queue? Do they hit voicemail? Do they get passed around to 3 people who don't know who the hell they are? And if you're not sure, or if your stomach tightens a bit when you think about it, that means something's wrong. You should be able to say yes to that question without hesitation. And if you can't, you've got some work to do. Okay, quick recap. Here's the list. These are your 10 foolproof discovery questions. Number 1, how do customers reach you? Question 2, what happens if nobody picks up? Question 3, how long does it take to resolve an issue? Number 4, are reps using personal phones? Question 5, what feedback are you getting about communication? Question 6, are your tools integrated or are you tab jumping? Question 7, do you track missed calls? Question 8, how do you manage recordings and voicemails? Question 9, what does CX success actually look like for you? And question 10, would your best customer get the experience you want them to? If even one of those made you pause, good. That's the point. These questions aren't just about uncovering problems, they're for setting the bar higher. Because the truth is, most SMBs aren't choosing the wrong phone system on purpose. They just don't know what questions to ask. And that's where we come in. Ask better questions, show them the gaps, and then when they ask what to do next, you show them the way forward. You don't need to pitch. You just need to listen for what's broken. This is Brian Nichols signing off on this week's episode of CX Without the BS. Hit subscribe for more no BS takes every single week hitting your YouTube feed and your podcast feed. This is Brian Nichols signing off. We'll see you next week.